Pakistan has recently been removed from the grey list of Financial Action Task Force, the world's terrorism financing watchdog. The Islamic nation was listed in 2018 because of strategic deficiencies in countering money laundering and terrorist financing. Has Pakistan really taken adequate steps to curb terror financing, or it has just completed bureaucratic exercises? Let's find out.
Indian security forces carrying out anti-terrorism operations in Jammu and Kashmir is a regular phenomenon. They have been fighting against terrorists who infiltrates from Pakistan on a mission to bleed Jammu and Kashmir. These armed terrorists are trained, financed and radicalized in Pakistan, who have been rejoicing its successful removal from FATF's grey list. After its two-day plenary in Paris, the FATF declared that Pakistan has fully completed the 34-point action plan. However, experts call it a statistical bureaucratic exercise which Pakistan has successfully finalized.
This is one of those statistical bureaucratic exercises where if you tick a certain checklist, it doesn't matter what you've done. It just shows that you've somehow controlled terrorism and therefore, terror funding, and therefore you're out of the list. Whereas we know that Pakistan would have found alternate routes of funding that same terror. This is a classic case of how viruses tend to outpace antibiotics. This is one of those cases where slow bureaucracies will never be able to compare with the nimbleness of terror organizations and terror funding.
The United States has identified Pakistan as a base of operations and target of numerous armed non-state terrorist groups, some of which have existed since 1980s. According to the Congressional Research Service, notable terrorists and other groups operating in Pakistan are of 5 broad but non-exclusive types. They include globally oriented, Afghanistan-oriented, India-oriented, domestically oriented and sectarian, that is, anti-Shias. US State Department's Country Reports on Terrorism 2020, which was released in December 2021, notes that Pakistan did not take steps under its domestic authorities to prosecute terrorist leaders residing in Pakistan. It said that Pakistan made limited progress on the most difficult aspects of its 2015 National Action Plan to counter terrorism.
Pakistani deep state has managed to build a worldwide infrastructure of, I would say, organized crime. And they are beneficiaries of this kind of thing. I don't think internal institutions of Pakistan are in a position to restrain them. They have managed to brainwash their whole generations, and they believe that Pakistani dabbling with terrorism and organized crime is something which enhances the glory of Islam. A very strong pocket of Islamic radicalism they have managed to create where no questions are asked.
Since Pakistan remained on FATF's grey list, several top terrorists, including Hafiz Saeed, Sajid Mir, Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi, Masood Azhar and Abdul Rahman Makki, remained invisible. It is believed many of these UN-designated terrorists who run their own charity organizations will start collecting funds to promote terrorism and Islamic radicalization. They enjoy the patronage of Pakistan's security agencies, who use these outfits as their proxies.
Terrorism is not a law and order problem, it is an act of war, and it's a very low-cost and deniable kind of war. So I doubt that in days to come Pakistan will dismantle them, and even if these specific individuals are not seen as frequently, or even if their influence erodes, Pakistani deep state is in a position to replace them through some other proxy.
The United States and India, both victims of terrorism, are trying hard to root out terrorism by sanctioning its perpetrators. They are making efforts to blacklist these terrorists under the 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the UN Security Council. Unfortunately, China, an all-weather friend of Islamabad, placed holes and blocks on bids by India and its allies to list Pakistan-based terrorists. Despite all, efforts are high to continue a fight against terrorism and its perpetrators.